Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99 podcast where we've got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I'm joined today with Slothy. Slothy, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good, thank you. It's been another good, busy week. We're starting Stampede out in Calgary, if anyone knows what that is. It's a big outdoor event, one of the biggest in the world, apparently.
Yeah, traffic's been insane.
Yeah, everyone's out here. We both live basically in the same kind of spot, and it's just big traffic, a lot of tourism for this time. So, yeah, should be a really fun time to actually get out and see that event. I've got one of the days off this week coming up to go do that specifically, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I'm hoping everyone else had a great week. We've got another deck tech for you guys this weekend. Slothy made a Jaheira deck, and I think Jaheira is just such a cool commander. The versatility it's got is awesome, and I'll let you jump right into the deck.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jaheira, it's kind of like it's tokens deck, but with my building of it, I kind of got halfway through and realized, oh, I'm building it with an enchantment sub theme. So it's kind of token enchantments and stuff that kind of benefit both. But Jaheira, Friend of the Forest, is 2 and a green for a 2/3 legendary creature, human elf druid that has tokens you control have tap it to add green. And you can choose a background. So the background that I chose is Inspiring Leader. This is 2 and a white for the enchantment. Commander creatures you own have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. So that would give it to Jaheira, and there are ways to make Inspiring Leader a creature as well, so that all of your creature tokens will get +4/+4.
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting. When you told me about how you were making this deck, I thought that turning your Inspiring Leader into it would be, it's actually, you'd get way more than +4/+4, to be honest, because Inspiring Leader would become a creature itself.
Yeah, that's what would give it.
Oh no, okay, it doesn't double up Jaheira. Okay, I'm bad at math. Also, sorry that I'm cracking this drink, but there we go. All right, energy drink's open. We're good. Yeah, no, I'm just waking up. Sorry to everyone listening because I'm not editing that out. So anyways, Jaheira is just an amazing card. I was super excited seeing this in spoilers because I personally love playing tokens. Tokens are like one of my favorite things to do. The fact that this is a $1.79 card and turns all of your treasure tokens into permanent ability to tap down. Your food tokens can turn into mana sources. Jaheira has some of the best accelerant potential, in my opinion, in the game. Yeah, it's very similar to Catilda from the Innistrad sets.
Yes.
That turned all of your humans into like mana dorks, and that deck also was like really, really strong. But this what I like the most about Jaheira, before we even get into it, is that it does it for everything, not just creature tokens. So you are kind of insulated a lot more against a board wipe than normal. If you go into, like, if you have a Smothering Tides in your list and you have like any treasures, the fact that you can just replay your commander and then have like another potential 15 mana on deck is really, really strong. Like, I think Jaheira is such a cool commander, and I really like Inspiring Leader as the secondary because you just buff everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll let you choose where we're jumping in here, but I'm excited to see this list.
Sure. Just one more stipulation before this. I built this specifically without Parallel Lives, Unending Procession, or Doubling Season.
I did the same with mine, with my Halcyon deck. Halcyon's like the bear token one. It just gets out of control. Like, you don't, it's too much accelerant that way. Like, especially with any of the instants, like, in my Halcyon is the same color with the Inspiring Leader background.
Yeah.
And I played version 1 of it with like a doubling season out and everything, and I got what was it? The like not flawless maneuvers. It was the white one instant that makes tokens.
Makes tokens?
Makes like Sand Warriors or something.
Oh, I don't remember what that one was called.
All right, anyways, I got it off and I got like 40 of them, and then I was able to just turn the majority of them into 4/4 bears with Inspiring Leader out, so 6/6 bears. Like, it just does too much. So I respect that you chose to not go that way.
Yeah. It's an easy 3 cards to put in the token deck.
Yeah, if you have them sitting around, it might be worth it.
Yeah, but why don't we jump into the artifacts first?
Sure. You want to talk about this first one, obviously?
Absolutely. This was one of my favorite cards from New Capenna. Bootlegger's Stash. 5 and a green for an artifact. Lands you control have tapped to create a treasure token. And with Jaheira, you can just tap them for green.
Yeah, that's like an MVP card.
Absolutely.
It's I really, really like the ability to just power turn stuff into artifact, especially generally speaking, you're only going even on it because your tokens you're going to sack the treasures. But with your commander, now you have you're just essentially doubling your mana every turn.
Exactly.
Into green mana, but boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Eldrazi Monument as well. It's a staple in a lot of token decks. It's a 5-cost artifact. Creatures you control get 1/1, flying indestructible. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sack a creature. If you can't, sacrifice Eldrazi Monument. This is rarely a problem in a token deck.
No, I remember playing this in my Locust God deck, and I played that deck hundreds of times, and I did not have to sacrifice the monument once.
Yeah. Every time I see the artwork of this, I love how it was drawn. It was really, really nice, like the big Ulamog floating there with the cubes.
Mm-hmm.
Such a weird artifact. Yeah.
And this next one is one of the win cons in the deck. One of my other favorite cards from New Capenna. It's a Halo Fountain. 2 and a white. You can tap a white and tap the fountain. To untap a tapped creature you control, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token.
Oh, sorry to jump in there. That's a really good card in this because you now have something that also taps, again, another way to double mana up is really cool.
Yeah. Then you can tap 2 white and tap it to untap 2 tapped creatures you control and draw a card. Or you can tap 5 white and tap it to untap 15 tapped creatures you control and you win the game.
Yeah. I hadn't even considered that in a deck like this one, but Halo Fountain's so cool. I always put this in like an elf deck.
Yeah. Halo Fountain, it's really easy to win with this card in this deck.
Yeah, that's actually that's a fun win condition. I like you win the game cards.
Yeah, me too. And
15 tapped creatures is a lot, but your commander letting you tap creatures also is really good. I really like that. That's a great inclusion. You've got Selesnya Signet, just again, more ramp to get your colors, 1 and a tap. It's 2 mana, then you pay 1, tap it, add 1 green, 1 white. Just solid ramp.
Yeah. Then we've got Skull Clan. 1 mana equipment. Equip creature gets +1/-1. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards and you can equip it for 1.
Yeah, really, again, just really solid ramp in a token deck. The ability to draw so many cards for so cheap.
And the way this one's going to work, you don't want to have Inspiring Leader out when you've got this.
Yeah, I can say, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, too, the fact that your commander basically lets the creatures pay to sack themselves to it is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then we've got Soul Ring. You're just basic Soul Ring. Tap for 2 mana, of course.
Yeah. Actually, I'm kind of debating right now because I went to my LGS yesterday and I got the Love Your LGS retro bordered Soul Ring.
Yeah, those are cool.
I want to find out what deck to put it in, and I'm debating between Squid Boy and this one.
The Squid Boy puts work in.
Oh yeah,
that's a cool deck. And then we've got last one on your list here. We got 2 mana, Talisman of Unity. Tap for a colorless, or tap to add 1 green or 1 white. 1 damage to you. I actually really like the talismans in Commander. You've got so much life that initial ping doesn't matter. It's great ramp if you don't need the color, and it's great to save the day if you do.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, that's the artifact section. Do you want to jump into Planeswalkers next?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's jump into Planeswalkers.
Here, I'll take this first one. The first one is Elspeth's Sun's Champion for double white for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker Elspeth. +1, put 3 +1/+1, or 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. Or -7, creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying. And that's an emblem.
Yeah. Doing more of what your inspiring leader's already doing.
Yeah.
Making you more inspiring.
Exactly.
And flying. You also have Garruk Wildspeaker, which is, I really like Garruk as a Planeswalker, and I also really like this other version of it. It's 2 and double green for Planeswalker. Garruk starts at 3 loyalty. Its +1 is untap 2 target lands. Its -1 is put a 3/3 green beast token onto the battlefield. And its -4 is creatures you control get 3/3 and gain trample until end of turn. So overrun on your creature, which is awesome. Yeah, no, I like your Planeswalker section. Nice and simple. Do you want to go into your instance or your sorceries?
Sure. Let's do sorceries.
Sure.
The first sorcery in here is Austere Command for double white. You can choose to destroy all artifacts, all enchantments, all creatures with CMC 3 or less, or all creatures with CMC 4 or greater. I might switch this one out for Farewell.
Farewell's great.
I think Farewell is just generally better.
Yeah. Farewell is such an awesome card. You've also got Cultivate. It's 2 and a green. Search your library for 2 basic lands. Reveal them. Put one onto the battlefield and the other in your hand and shuffle. I tend to put Cultivate in every green deck that exists.
Absolutely. It's a staple.
Yeah, I like it. It's one of my favorite ramps. I know you can ramp cheaper on like 2 mana. I put it in every deck. I like this card.
Yeah. This next one is a win con with all the mana that you're going to be making with, well, from Jaheira and a bunch of other stuff. It's Finale of Glory. X double white for a sorcery. Create X 2/2 white soldier creature tokens with vigilance. If X is 10 or more, also create X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance.
One of my favorite cards in all of Magic. I love all of the finales.
Yeah.
I play all of them in pretty much every deck. My girlfriend's been playing Jetmir as a deck.
Oh yeah.
And we actually played a game last night, and she was all excited. She's like, she's learning the game still, and she's just like, yeah, like all Finale of Glory X is 11, and someone counterspelled her, so she learned the hard way of counterspell magic, but they also learned the hard way of she had 32 creatures out with Jetmir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. She's like, okay, well, I'll kill you. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it wasn't me counterspelling. Yeah, no, Finale of Glory is such a great card, and like, again, it's good in just normal decks, but with the insane mana you have, yeah, I could see this being a problem.
Absolutely.
You've got Hour of Reckoning as well, which is awesome in token decks too. 4 triple white. It has Convoke, so you can tap creatures to help pay its cost, 1 mana or one of the creature's colors. You destroy all non-token creatures. Leaves you in a good spot.
This does so much work.
Well, a lot of time in your deck, you're going to be able to cast this for free.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many ways to make tokens and then just tap a whole bunch of stuff, and very rarely going to be paying more than a couple if you have to.
Yeah, at most.
Next up, we've got Idyllic Tutor, 2 mana white. Search library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. There's a couple juicy enchantments you're going to want to grab in this deck.
Yeah, I like that one. I know what it's fetching because we've talked about it. We also have Nomad's Assembly, which is just so good too. I really like the selection you've put on so far. 4 double white. For a sorcery, you put white 1/1 core soldier token for each creature you control, and then it also has rebound. So again, you're essentially doubling up your mana availability with this card twice in a row.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Parallel Evolution, 3 double green. For each creature token in play, its controller puts a creature token into play that's a copy of that creature, and it's got flashback for 4 and triple green.
Yeah. And that flashback cost is nothing if you're doubling your tokens.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's easy. You also got Rampant Growth, that 2 mana ramp that I was talking about, and my favorite art of Rampant Growth. 1 and a green, search library for basic. For anyone who doesn't know, it's the big sunflower one. Love it. 1 and a green, you search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Again, just solid ramp.
Yeah. And I actually pulled one of these yesterday when I was opening some double masters. I was quite happy with it.
Nice. I like that.
Shall we go into the instance?
Yeah, because I assume the meat and potatoes is going to mostly be in your creature section.
Actually, not this time.
Really? All right.
Enchant.
Oh, your enchantments, hey?
Yeah.
All right. We've got a Chroma's Will for the first instant in the deck. It's 3 and a white. It's from the initial Commander Legends. It has choose one. If you control a commander as you cast it, you can choose both, and having partners, you pretty much are always going to. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn, which is insane already. And also creatures you control gain indestructible, lifelink, and protection from all colors until end of turn. If you get this off, generally this will end the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's you can't block, you can't target them. It's very hard to deal, and your creatures are indestructible. It's very hard. Short of holding a Psych Rift, you're probably going to die if someone casts this card.
Absolutely. And then with Psych Rift, you've got to hold up 7 mana as well.
Yeah.
And
Chroma's Will is great.
Next up, we've got Aura Mutation. Green and a white. Destroy target enchantment. Create X 1/1 green sapling creature tokens, where X is that enchantment's mana value.
Love that one. You have Beast Within, just also really, really solid removal. 2 and a green. Destroy target permanent. Its controller gets 3/3 Beast.
And in a pinch as well, what I was kind of thinking with these ones.
You can get your own things. Just
destroy one of your treasure tokens.
Yeah, true. To get a bigger blocker. I like to Beast Within people's colored lands that they need to play the game. I play very differently than most people.
Yeah. Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we know.
I wait to see what they cultivate or fetch land to, because I know that's the color they need, and then I'm like, destroy.
So, tip for playing against Dan. Yeah. Don't fetch any of the colors you actually need.
Yeah, fake me out. We have Eladamri's Call as well. 1 and a white. Search library for a creature, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle.
Yeah. And then we've got Flawless Maneuver, 2 and a white. If you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah. I love that whole cycle. Like I said, I was sad to not see that put into this. The Double Master seemed like a reprint set for Commander specifically.
Yeah.
So none of these being included was kind of a bummer. Like Otrimi's Rolick is really good. That could have definitely used a reprint. Even Obscuring Haze, like the green one, I love that card.
Yeah, and I definitely think that what was it? I can't remember what it's called. The blue one.
Oh, Fierce Guardianship, yeah.
Fierce Guardianship. I definitely think that one needs a reprint.
It's just inaccessible for a lot of people right now.
Yeah, like, and I think I mentioned last week, but I was lucky enough to pre-order all 5 of those decks when they first came out, so I've got them all. But
yeah, but that's the same. I'm the same. I have all of them, but I'm not going to buy another one at like $80 or $90, whatever it's at.
No, I just like
no chance.
Take a proxy copy of it. Say, hey, I've actually got this card.
Well, yeah, like that's the supply is so limited, and again, I'm not going to go buy the deck specifically for that one card and rip it apart that way. You also have Generous Gifts, another one that I do the same thing as Beast Within with, just in white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically the exact same card, just a 3/3 beast or 3/3 elephant instead of a beast. It's even a green beast. They didn't change too much.
Yeah. Then we've got Heroic Intervention, 1 and a green. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah, I love Johnny as a character.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough love.
Yeah, Johnny's one of my favorite planeswalkers. You've got March of Multitudes again, which is another card that I really, really like. If your tokens already didn't tap for mana, you could tap them because it has Convoke. It's X, 1 green, double white. Has Convoke, create X, 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. And that lifelink is going to be huge when you have your Inspiring Leader out in their 3/3s.
Yep.
Yeah, a really, really easy way to get a fair amount of life back and just giant token creation with your mana sink ability.
Yeah. Then we've got Path to Exile. Single white, exile target creature. Controller may search your library for basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle.
Yep. That's, again, a very, very solid one. It's always a good time to have that.
Yeah.
Second Harvest is a really fun card to play in token decks. 2 double green. For each token you control, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that permanent. This is going to hit everything you need, all your treasure tokens, all of your any of your soldiers, any token that even if you have food tokens all over, you're gonna crush it with Second Harvest. It's a really, really fun card, and it's also really fun in combat when someone thinks you're tapped out and you just double up what you have. Yeah, that's a good one.
And the last instant is Source of Plowshares, single white, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power.
Yeah, no complaints there at all.
No.
Okay, well we'll do your creatures next, I guess, because I know you want to talk enchantments at the end. Then.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So we'll start off Adeline. Adeline is one of, I think, the coolest cards that was printed of the year. When we do our recap at the end of the year, if it's not on my list, then amazing things have happened. Adeline is 1 and a double white for a legendary human knight. It has star 4 power and vigilance. Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control, which is great. And whenever you attack, for each opponent, you create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. This is such a great card.
Absolutely. If you think about it, with Inspiring Leader out,
yeah, they're 3/3s.
That's 3/3s you're just making.
Well, the attack is Adeline attacking alone with it is making 12 damage of hit your opponents, which is awesome. And you're never swinging Adeline at the player that can kill Adeline.
No, not at all. Then we've got a card that I quite like. Archon of Emeria, 2 and a white for a 2/3 Archon with flying. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn, and non-basic lands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. This is a card that I added just in case you're against somebody who's playing a lot of like combos and stuff, because the mana value of this deck is so high. For the first little while, it's unlikely you'll be playing more than 1 spell each turn anyway.
A token deck takes time to get off, yeah.
Yeah, and then if you can get this down turn 2, turn 3, it's going to be a target. But by the time that they target it and kill it, you'll have gotten your stuff up and running.
Well, removal magnets are important too, right? Like the fact that you can have something, I can get rid of your commander, or I can get rid of the card that's annoying me more than your commander, right? Which am I going to choose? The annoying one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's wise. You've also got Archon of Sun's Grace, 2 double white for an Archon creature, 3/4, flying lifelink. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. which is great stats the whole way around. Then it has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Then we've got Absence Pilgrim, single green for a human monk 1/1, tap to add white to your mana pool.
Yeah, pretty good. You have Avenger of Zendikar as well, which is a card I'm super happy came down in price finally.
Absolutely.
5 double green for a 5/5 elemental. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 plant creature token for each land you control with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant creature you control. But again, like a parrot, I'm saying this is just doubling your mana up in Jaheira. Those plants, everyone knows they can get out of control quickly. But further than that, if you have 7 mana out to cast this, you're also essentially getting 7 power or 7 tap for forests. Like you're going from 7 mana to 14 mana, which is insane ramp.
Yeah. Then we've got one of my favorite cards of the year, Benny Brack's Zoologists. 3 and a white for a 3/2 legendary creature elf druid. It's got Convoke. And at the beginning of each end step, if you create a token this turn, draw.
That's cool. What set's that from? Is that from the...
That's the new Capenna commander set.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
You have Circle of Dream Druids. I always forget this card exists.
Yeah.
This will also be one of the best cards of the year, I believe. Triple green for an elf druid, 2/1, and it has tap, add a green for each creature you control. There is no downsides to it. That is awesome.
It is Gaia's Cradle on a creature.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's nothing more to say about it. It is phenomenally strong.
Yeah.
This artwork's silly.
I love this art so much. But next up is Crater Hoof Behemoth. 3 triple green for a 5/5 beast with haste.
Five triple green. 5 triple green.
Oh, sorry. What did I say?
You said 3. I wish. Oh, I wish.
Yeah, five triple green for a 5/5 with haste. When Crater Hoof Behemoth enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain sample and get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control.
Yeah.
Not much to be said about that one. It's a
great
card.
A great overrun card in every deck, but in token decks especially, it's go time. This next one, knowing your theme, is a really good include. It's Destiny Spinner. 1 in the green for a 2/3 enchantment creature human. Creatures and enchantments you control can't be countered, which is awesome. And then you can, with your land sink or your mana sink, you can 3 in a green, target land you control becomes an XX elemental with trample, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's still a land.
Yeah.
In a pseudo enchantment deck, like you've got 18, like you're potentially making 18 18s for 4 mana, and you've got nothing but mana. Yeah, I like it. But next card's disgusting.
Next up is one of my other favorite cards. Elish Norn Grand Cenobite, 5 double white for a 4/7 legendary creature Praetor with Vigilance. Other creatures you control get +2/+2, and creatures your opponents control get -2/-2.
Yeah, so just like the on steroids version of your secondary commander.
This pairs really nicely with a card that we're going to be talking about in a couple minutes.
Well, the other thing too as well is generally the problem with Elish Norn is Elish Norn costs a lot to get out.
Yeah.
But Elish Norn getting out when you have, like, you can almost cast it from your, like, just from turn 4 or 5 in this deck if you've got your creatures out. Like, Elish Norn just can hit the deck, like, the table so fast in a deck like this, and it's hard to get rid of.
Absolutely. It's hard to, you're going to kind of have to be hoping to hold up, like, Swords to Plowshares or something for it.
Yep. Yeah, well, and especially you've got so many things in here that are making it indestructible. Elish Norn's gross. You have Eternal Witness, 1 double green. When it enters, as a human shaman, 2/1. When it enters, you can return target card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's what everyone uses it for. It's not for the stats of the 2/1 ever.
Do you want to take this next one? Because I want to talk about the one after that.
So yeah, this next card is Jukai Naturalist. 1 green, 1 white. It's an enchantment creature, human monk with lifelink. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and it's 2/2.
Yeah. But this next one is the one that pairs really nicely with Elish Norn.
Oh, it's gross. That's gross. You're a bad person. You're a bad person, and I respect it.
This is Kamal, Fist of Krosa, 4 double green for a 4/3 legendary creature, human druid. It's got, you can tap a green to have target land become a 1/1 creature until end of turn. It's still a land. 2 triple green. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. So it's a good mana sink with the triple green and 2, but you can just kind of wipe out your opponent's lands.
Yeah, that's very funny. I would only do it again to off-color lands, which would be even funnier. Just frustrate people.
Absolutely.
Leave them with only one color in a multicolor deck, like an Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, this is especially because all of your creatures in this deck can tap for green anyway. If Ginny, or not Ginny Fey, that's another token commander, Jaheira.
Yeah.
If Jaheira is out, they can just tap for green.
Yeah.
It's very easy because you usually going to have more creatures than opponents are going to have lands.
Well, and another fun thing, I do this in a similar deck, and I use a different card that lets me tap my creatures for mana as well. But what's really, really fun is you have a bunch of 1/1s. You don't just have to use a second ability offensively. I like to use it defensively. So I swing into you and you just mana dump into them and make them all 15/15s and wipe my board out.
Yeah.
I love Kamal. Yeah, Kamal's really cool.
Then we've got Mesa Enchantress, 1 double white for a 0/2 human druid. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you may draw a card.
Yep. Risk the Redeemed as well. It's a hybrid, either green or white, like a Selesnya hybrid. It's an Elf Warrior 1/1, 2, and again, that hybrid color. You tap, put a 1/1 green and white Elf Warrior token into play. Awesome. 4, and then 1 green, 1 white, or 1 green, 1 white. Tap for each creature token you control, put a token into play that's a copy of that creature. That gets out of hand.
Mm-hmm. See, the thing that I could never get over with Risk the Redeemed, he's 1 mana.
Yeah.
I always found that absolutely bonkers.
Riss is a wonderful, like, early game commander.
Absolutely.
Hits like a truck when you can double those things up like that.
Next up is Scoot Swarm. 2 and a green for a 1/1 insect with landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scoot Swarm instead.
Scoot Swarm's nuts.
And it's got one of my favorite flavor texts. Survival Rule 782. There are always more scoot bugs.
Yeah. Scoot Swarm can get out of hand really quick. At worst, it's a token generator. At best, it's like, again, it doubles itself every turn. It's strong.
Yeah.
It's real strong.
I played this during my brief stint with Arena. I played this in my Kinnan Bonder Prodigy Brawl deck, and insane.
Yeah. I got no complaints about that one at all. You also have Tendershoot Dryad. It's 4 and a green for a Dryad 2/2 with Ascend. If you control 10 or more permanents, which again, you're a token deck. Come on, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Beginning of your upkeep, beginning of each upkeep, not your upkeep. You create a 1/1 green Sapperling token, which is great. Sapperlings you control get 2/2 as long as you have the City's Blessing. So this is going to make just your Sapperlings nuts with your Inspiring Leader out. And again, people don't really pack much enchantment removal. So like the fact that like your Sapperlings, you're making a 5/5 every turn without any other buffs is bonkers. Yeah, I really like Tendershoot Dryad. Oh, the first card is gross.
Yeah, that'll do it for the creature section. There are just a couple lands I'd like to mention, if that's all right.
Sure.
So, well, I say a couple. There's only like one.
Half of a couple.
Got Hall of Heliod's Generosity in here. Tap it to add colorless, 1 and a white. Tap it, put target enchantment card from your graveyard on top of your library. This just kind of negates any enchantment removal other than exile. I did run this deck a bit land heavy. There's 35 lands in here, but that's just because the mana value is higher than I usually play by like almost an entire point and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you also have another one that is worth mentioning in a deck that you've got so many things in, and that's Gavinry Township.
Yeah, that's true.
The 2/1 green 1 white. It taps for colorless, comes in untapped, which is awesome. But 2/1 green 1 white. You tap it, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. When you control 40 creatures, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, now we'll go into your enchantments, and the first one's gross. I refuse to even read it.
So the first one is Aura Shards. It is 1 green and a white. Whenever a creature comes into play under your control, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment.
That's one of my least favorite cards in all of Magic. I hate it.
This is my Get Lost Stacks card.
Yeah, I just find it such a problem. I hate this card. Ugh, it's gross. You've got Beastmaster Ascension, which I don't hate, and I actually need a copy of for that Jetmir deck I was talking about. Beastmaster's Ascension is 2 and a green. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you can put a quest counter on Beastmaster's Ascension. As long as there are 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get 5/5. Silly.
Yeah, and one thing I was reading just through Reddit this morning, kind of looking to see if there are any alternate win cons for token decks that I hadn't thought of.
Yep.
And one thing that I knew you could do, but it was just kind of in the back of my mind, you can just play this main phase,
Hmm.
go and attack. It's going to get the counters, and then it's just going to be kind of like explosion.
Hmm.
Like I think the example that was used was the 0-1s from Avengers Zendikar. You can just attack with them after you put Beastmaster Ascension on, attack with 7 of them, and then end up doing 35 damage.
Yep. Yeah, they're a real problem. Beastmaster's Ascension is awesome.
Yeah.
You also have Burgeoning, which is just really fun to just dump lands out.
Mm-hmm.
1 mana, whenever an opponent plays a land, you can put a land from your hand directly onto the battlefield. This is a great opener. It's not as great late game when you're down cards in hand, but like I said, as an opener, like if you get this out and you've drawn 4 lands, you can hit turn 2 with like 4 lands in play, which is crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Burgeoning. Ooh, the next one also rough.
We've got Cathar's Crusade, 3 double white. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Once again, we've got 40 creatures out. Does a little bit of work.
Yeah, too much work. Cryptolith Rite is the card I was talking about earlier. 1 in the green. Your creatures they tap to add 1 mana of any color to your pool, which is, I just really like Cryptolith Rite in general. I run it heavily in like sliver decks, 5-color decks.
Yeah.
But in a token deck as well, you just have so much. Like I run this, it's one of my main cards that I would look for with Rith, the Redeemer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Rith. Yeah, Cryptolith Rite is just such a cool card. It looks like it has come down a little in price. It's still around $17, so.
Yeah.
But for what it does, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Next up is Darksteel Mutation, 1 in a white. For an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature is an insect artifact creature with base power toughness 0/1 and has indestructible, and it loses all other abilities, card types, and creature types. Infinitely powerless.
Yeah, I hate that card too. It's rough.
This is one that I really, really like including, because if they've got a
any good card, yeah, any their commander, like I've used Jetmir as an example so much. Jetmir is a monster.
Yeah, and like this, it doesn't kill it or exile it or have it leave the battlefield at all.
Yeah, the ability to recast is easy, but this is not as easy to get around. This is rough.
Yeah,
I like that. You also have Enchantress's Presence. Whenever you cast an enchantment, draw a card, 2 in a green.
Yeah. Next up is a fun card that I found while building this deck. It's Epic Struggle. 2 double green. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more creatures, you win the game.
This is, I know I keep going back to it, but I have to say, so that was one of the ways that the game ended yesterday with this Jetmir deck, is Epic Struggle, which went to kill the table. Somebody did a Angel's Grace.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well, I'll at least get another turn. And then the Jetmir player played Chance for Glory to take an extra turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at the end step, they lose, but they win. So they got 2 Epic Struggle wins off. Epic Struggle is such a cool card, and you don't see it very much.
No.
I love Epic Struggle. It's a very fun alternate win con. I like that your deck has multiple alternate win cons in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of trying to build around, like, okay, what if they've got, like, what's that one called? Like a propaganda effect.
Yeah. You're stacked out and you can't get through it, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to have ways you could win around that. Next up, we've got Exploration, a single green. You may play an additional land on each of your turns.
Yep, which goes really good into your next one. I really like this card. I find myself putting it in more and more decks. Felidar Retreat, 3 and a white. Whenever a land enters, you choose one. First option, create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token. Awesome. Or put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, and they gain vigilance until the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Felidar Retreat puts in a lot of work. I really like it.
Then we've got Fertile Ground, 1 and a green. Enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of any color to his or her mana pool.
I wouldn't have put this one in. I don't know. I guess your enchantment sub theme. I don't know. You have so much mana.
Yeah.
You need less mana.
No, don't say that. That just gives me one more token for March of the Multitudes.
I would have. My personal thought on this is I would replace this with Old Heliod.
Yeah, that's fair. Because,
again, you're hitting your enchantment that you want to hit. Heliod's awesome, and it's something to power dump all of your immense amounts of mana into.
I'm going to add that right now.
Yeah, Heliod's great.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I love Heliod and the amount of clerics you can generate. Like, again, this deck, I I see you very easily being able to like generate like 30, 40 mana a turn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing. Like you could have gone into, especially if you wanted to just be obnoxious, you could have gone into the. It's an enchantment. It triples your creatures. What is it? Triples your mana. Sorry.
Triples my mana. That is oh, what's he called? Nyxbloom Ancient.
Yeah, Nyxbloom Ancient is going to hit that, and Mana Reflection. Like again, you've got so many abilities to double up your mana, and like I said, you could, but I don't know if you would need to. Like the amount that you have in this deck already for mana generation is nuts. Like it's a bummer that this commander combination doesn't have red as well. Like if it was the 3 colors, because you would just be able to blow people off the table with like a Comet Storm.
Absolutely.
That'd be gross.
Yep, I just added Heliod, God of the Sun, took out Fertile Ground for people who are looking at this after.
Yeah, hooray.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh yeah, Heliod, I always look for something to dump my mana into.
Yeah, next up we've got Growing Ranks, 2 Hybrid Selesnya. At the beginning of your upkeep, populate.
Yeah, that, again, just a great card.
Yeah.
Intangible Virtue as well puts in just an immense amount of work at such a low value. 1 and 1 white. Creature tokens you control get 1/1 and have vigilance.
Yeah. Here's another one that kind of gets around being able to recast your commander. Canvas Transformation. 1 and a green enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a green elk creature with base power toughness 3/3.
Getting elked is one of the most frustrating things in the game. I really like I say every time I see one of your decks, I like how differently you build than me, right? And a lot of my decks don't really, like I play in like a really, really aggressive meta, right? And a lot of us don't have like answers for this for like multiple turns. Like I say it so often when we talk about enchantments, people don't pack enough enchantment removal. I'm one of those people. And getting rid of Kenrith, basically, if you Kenrith something of mine, I'm just attacking you with it every turn until it dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just, Kenrith Transformation is such a good card. The Darksteel Mutation as well, like just the 0/1 indestructible, at least it can't be killed that way. But man, Kenrith Transformation is a great card to just salt the table with. And the fact that it draws on enter too is just a great card.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorite cards from Eldraine. And
generally when I go do like I buy a bunch of staples. I put a lot of similar things in decks. Kenrith Transformation's one of them. I just buy out every one I find.
Absolutely. I mean, like, and it's not like it's a terribly expensive card either. It's 70 cents.
Yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. Like there's pretty much no green deck it's not good in. If you have, like I said, an enchantment sub theme though, oh, this card puts in work.
Absolutely. And then if you've got ways to make, like Dan was saying, if it turns your Ur Dragon into a 3/3 elk and he attacks you with it every turn, but you've got something like Eldrazi Monument out, you can just block with a 1/1 and just make that kind of, okay, you're just attacking me, losing one of your blockers.
Yeah, I play a lot of decks that losing the commander is devastating in. My Halcyon deck that I talked about, the same thing. Halcyon is worthless without. I have 2 versions of Halcyon. I'm just finishing up a second one where I make blood tokens. I turn the blood tokens into bears, and I think that's really fun. But it's the same thing. If you Kenrith Transformation my Halcyon, then like my tokens, I just have like a plethora of like food and treasure tokens to do nothing with.
Yeah.
Behold, the treasure bears become nothing.
Yeah, there's so many decks I find rely a lot on the commander.
Well, generally we build because we see a commander and we're like, oh, that's really interesting. I'll play with this. I like this ability. It's very rare. Like, I know everyone said it with Golos of like, oh, it's just like good stuff color piles, but it's very rare, like in casual commander, that you just see a good stuff deck.
Yeah.
You generally, like, people want their commander, like, especially with partner pairings like a Vial Smasher. People actually want that Vial Smasher out, and having Vial Smasher be a 3/3 elk really wrecks the game plan of what I'm doing with Vial Smasher.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like, I learned that in my time kind of researching more competitive stuff recently, that you should always try to have a way to win without your commander without your commander.
Oh yeah, because like talking about it again. The reason I like Jetmir so much is you essentially have a win condition from the command zone. It's the fact that it gives you at its like top ability 3/0 vigilance, trample, double strike is crazy. But the whole deck is built on that premise, and losing that premise, like not having Jetmir, really is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jetmir really relies on that fact. I also, one more card that you didn't have in here, but I would have put in here personally, is Shaman of the Forgotten Ways, because A, it's really funny to kill people with that card, but B, you're going to have so many tokens that you're just going to be able to make yourself like 80 or 90 life every time you Formidable.
Which one is that?
That's it taps for mana. It's like two colorless, one green, taps for 2 mana only for creatures, and then it has Formidable.
The 9 double green, each player's life total becomes the number of creatures he or she controls.
Yeah, which for you is just like nuts life gain in a deck like this when you've got so many. But if somebody does board wipe out, then like while people rebuild, the fact that you can just so easily like crush the table out is fun. I love that card.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one of my go-tos in any token deck. That's my personal thoughts.
I didn't think of that one either.
Yeah. You also have Mirari's Wake, back to your actual list, not my random suggestions of your list. You've got 3/1 green, 1 white. Creatures you control get 1/1. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produced. Another awesome card. And I've desperately been trying to find the other artwork of it. I really like the new artwork. Yeah, the blue swirly one.
Yeah, the full art one.
Yeah, I really like that. I think it's cool. Obviously, you've got to talk about the next one.
I do. This next one is kind of what inspired me to build this deck in the first place. It's Opalescence. 2 double white. Each other global enchantment. That's how old this card is. They talk about global enchantments. Each other global enchantment is a creature with power and toughness each equal to its CMC. It's still an enchantment. So this card is nuts in this deck. The original interaction that I had thought about was it makes Inspiring Leader a creature, a 3/3 creature, which would trigger its ability on itself because it's now a commander creature. So it would give all of your tokens with Jaheira out +4/+4.
Yep.
And then it's a good way to just kind of end the game, get a whole, like, turn all of your enchantments into creatures, which if you've got Eldrazi Monument out, gives them flying and indestructible as well, so you don't have to worry about swinging out with them and losing them. It's just a way to close out the game really, really quickly in multiple different ways.
Opalescence is a really cool card. It's again, another card you don't often see, and the fact that you get an interaction from the command zone. Like, I hadn't even considered it with the backgrounds, and I've gone on tangents about how much I like background. I love partner. I've been building backgrounds. And the fact that all the backgrounds pretty much give commander creatures you own have this secondary ability, right? And yeah, like that's such a cool use of it. Like I really, as soon as you said that you were building it this way, I got very excited about seeing this list, and it's nearly done, and it has not disappointed me. Like, I think that this is a really, really cool deck. I think it's very, like, the ability to steamroll the table is like there, but I don't think, like you said, you gave yourself that restriction of, okay, well, I'm not going to run the crazy doublers because I don't need to, right?
Yeah. This deck is able to put in work without spending $300 extra on those cards.
Yeah, like I said, I'm super interested in your list. Like, it's very well done. I know we're just about at the end of it, but like I'll talk about it when we're done here. But I really like the Opalescence idea. I love silly sub themes.
Yeah.
Also, the next card is silly. Rabble Rousing, 4 and a white, Hideaway 5. When it enters, you look at the top 5 cards, put 1 face down. But what it's really for is whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many green and white citizen creature tokens. Then if you control 10 or more creatures, you can play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. That's just an awesome secondary ability that you get a free card off of it. But the fact that you can, every time you attack, double up your creatures is really, really strong. Yeah, Rabble Rousing is a card that I have just seen only hit the table a single time since release, and that player crushed me.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a solid card.
Really nice colors on it too.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And the final card in the deck is Sterling Grove, green and a white for an enchantment. Each or other enchantments you control have Shroud, and you can pay 1 and sacrifice Sterling Grove, search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, then shuffle it and put that card on top of it. Yeah,
Sterling Grove's nuts.
So it gives you a way to protect all your stuff, and you can get rid of it when you need to find something like the Opalescence, like a Darksteel Mutation, like an Epic Struggle. Yeah, that is
Oh yeah,
that's Jaheira.
I forgot about Epic Struggle in the deck already, and I had already talked about it. Yeah, the fact that you can fetch that win con, especially really really fun right before like in someone's end step to a win, is a really cool way.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Jaheira.
Yeah, I was saying 2 cards ago, I think you built a really cool deck here. Like I think that this is really I like stuff like this. Like again, like I with so much mana, I would have gone way harder into like mana sink stuff. Like that's just I love mana sinks in general. But like just this is like pretty straightforward. Like just beat face, make lots of like crazy big creatures, and you have lots of alternate win cons. And alternate win cons are some of my favorite things in Magic. I love to see a Halo fountain hit the table in a stacks game and somebody win the game.
Yeah.
It's the pardon me, the Angel of Destiny, is that what it is? It's the new Angel Cleric, where you attack, you both gain life, and if you have 15 more, that player loses the game. That's another one of my favorite, like, kill people, like, no matter what they're doing cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just really like alternative win cons. I also love that you have the Epic Struggle in there.
Yeah.
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 Like I said, I think you put together, like, a really fun deck. Have you got to play it yet?
Not in person. I've done like a ton of like goldfishing and playtesting with it.
Oh, okay.
And it gets going fast.
Yeah.
But
I am very, very interested to see this one. Like I said, we're gonna get some stream games going soon, so I'd love to see some of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I think you made a really cool deck. My only real big suggestion was, like I said, just changing out that one card for the like the fertile ground. I think you got enough mana. I think you got it covered.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I think the Kamal and Elish Norn thing is hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even realize really worked until when I was looking at the deck this morning. I was like, oh my.
Yeah, I would probably,
my.
especially if I was going to go that way, I would probably be annoying and put like a tooth and nail in.
Yeah.
So that I could just get both of them out and be like, oh, whoops, my bad. But again, I'm a bad person. Having them generically hit the field is one thing, but like tutoring them out is mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Circle of Dream Druids, I'm just scrolling through your list here. Circle of Dream Druids is such an amazing card.
Yeah, that card came out like a year ago, and I still don't hear very many people talking about it.
No, the fact that you have a Gaia's Cradle creature for $7 is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it made one of the least accessible cards finally accessible into Magic, and I think that that's something that's awesome.
Yeah, I quite like how they're doing that kind of with kind of the powered down version.
Yeah, but again, I'm still all right with the powered down version.
Absolutely, it does the job just fine.
Yeah, but yes, that's the deck. We'll stop ranting now. How would you build these? Like, did you like the background mechanic? Let us know. Reach out to us on Instagram. Thank you again for getting to the end of the episode. You can find all our content at intothe99.com. We have a new writer who's going to be putting some deck primers up. I'm really excited. They're pretty cool lists, so definitely check out the articles. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah. See you guys later.